While Stephen Curry and Al Horford were back in the lineup, Jimmy Butler remained out with a reportedly minor ankle sprain, while Moses Moody remained out with a reportedly minor calf strain. Draymond Green got a rest day in what was the Dubs' 4th preseason outing out of 6 eventual exhibitions. Steve Kerr started a lineup of Stephen Curry, Brandon Podziemski, Will Richard, Jonathan Kuminga, and Al Horford. Curry was fouled on 2 threes in the first quarter and went to the line to knock down all 6 of those free throws he received. Stephen scored 10 opening quarter points on 1 for 2 shooting from distance, the one triple being where he used a high Horford ball screen, Curry slid to get open, and hit a nasty pull-up triple. However, in a rough habit of starting slow, the Dubs continued it by getting down 18 early to the Blazers on the road. The Warriors' offense felt like a game of hot potato pass it on early as nobody wanted to attack and everyone was passive, while the Blazers' athleticism behind Canadian Shaedon Sharpe to go along with Donovan Clingan, Jeremy Grant, Denny Avdia, and Hanson Yang looked overwhelming in the opening frame and a half. However, late in the second quarter, fueled by a lineup of Stephen Curry, Will Richard, Quintin Post, Jonathan Kuminga, and Brandon Podziemski, the Warriors would practically erase their 18-point deficit in a matter of minutes with swift ball movement and lethal shot making from the rookie Richard to go along with Posty and Pods, who were recipients of the ball zipping around the court in the late second Q. Additionally, the Warriors' defense scrapped down, as this looked like the team that ranked first in defensive rating post-All-Star break in 24-25. In turn, it was only a 5-point Warrior deficit by halftime. Surprisingly, given it's the preseason, Kerr started his starting lineup to begin the second half, but with Trayce Jackson-Davis in place of Jonathan Kuminga, as Kerr decided to mix things up. That unit of the original starters plus TJD was a +3 in 7 minutes together, putting the Dubs within 2 with 5 minutes left in the third frame. Hield, Posty, and GP2 then checked in, and the domination continued. Hield got loose out of a split-action set and drained a triple, then Curry made a driving layup to put the Dubs up 3. Quintin Post was cooking, as he'd hit a pick and pop, then find Curry with a between-his-legs dime. Posty did throw it away, leading to a Shaedon Sharpe dunk, then threw it out of bounds a possession later, but for the most part, Post was playing well on both ends. Jackson Rowe pulled up and drained a crucial 2-for-1 3-pointer late in the third to put the Dubs up 1, and finally GP2 banked in a triple at the buzzer off a dime from Hield to put the Warriors up 4 entering the fourth. The fourth frame saw the Dubs roll out a lineup of Spencer, Hield, Richard, GP2, and Jackson-Davis, a lineup you could very well see in the regular season. This lineup went up -1 in 3.5 minutes together before LJ Cryer and Quintin Post checked in. This was a 1-point game with 7.5 minutes left before Quintin Post drained his third triple of the night off a pick and pop from the left corner. A giant lineup of Spencer, Cryer, Rowe, Jackson-Davis, and Post closed the game, and the Warriors ended up winning this meaningless but entertaining exhibition. Given they were down 18 this game and came back, down 21 against Portland in their second preseason outing and came back, plus would have came back from another 21-point deficit against the Lakers had it not been for the biased officiating, it's safe to say the Dubs are the comeback kids of the preseason. Stephen Curry led the way for the Warriors with a game-high 28 points on 6 for 15 shooting from the field and 4 for 11 shooting from distance. After a rough start to his Warriors tenure in terms of that on the stat sheet, Al Horford shot 2 for 3 from distance, and he could have scored a lot more than the 8 points he did, given he missed some bunnies. But you can see Big Al's chemistry with Curry developing as the two connected on several play sets that set up triples. What stood out most, though, was the way the Dubs' young core and new additions responded to adversity. Will Richard made his presence felt as a fearless, high IQ rookie who doesn't play like one. His confidence in taking shots in rhythm, attacking closeouts, and defending wings with his size or bigger has been one of the biggest revelations of camp. He has a calmness about him, not forcing plays, not over-dribbling, just making the right read every time the ball swings his way. Combine that with Quintin Post, who's quickly proven he's not just a camp body, but someone who fits perfectly within Kerr's motion-heavy system. Post's willingness to stretch the floor, set hard screens, and keep the ball moving mirrors the role that veteran bigs like Nemanja Bjelica or Otto Porter Jr. once thrived in. These two are becoming major preseason stories, not just for their box score impact, but for how seamlessly they're integrating into the Warriors system. When you can plug in rookies and sophomores who play within the flow of the offense, it signals real depth, something the Dubs sorely needed last season. Defensively, the Dubs' energy and communication were the most encouraging signs. Even without Draymond Green, their rotations looked crisp and disciplined. Al Horford's experience was on full display. He blocked 2 shots in this one, and the man was calling out switches, quarterbacking the defense from the paint, and giving younger players direction mid-possession. Gary Payton II brought that signature chaos, diving on the floor for loose balls, rotating perfectly to contest at the rim, and forcing Portland's young guards into rush decisions. Even Buddy Hield, typically viewed as a one-way player, made several sharp defensive reads, sliding his feet, contesting shots without fouling, and showing he's buying into Kerr's defensive principles. The tone defensively felt collective. It wasn't just 1 or 2 guys hustling, it was 5 defenders moving on a string, something the Dubs have been trying to reestablish as a core identity since their defensive resurgence post-All-Star break last year. If that type of defensive consistency carries into the regular year, they'll once again be a nightmare for teams that rely on pace and isolation. Another underrated storyline has been Trayce Jackson-Davis, whose subtle growth is becoming harder to ignore. His court awareness continues to sharpen, especially as a roller and rim protector. He's setting sturdier screens, sealing deep under the basket, and finishing through contact with more confidence. But defensively, he's what ties a lot of lineups together, the way he can hedge and recover, challenge at the rim, and still have the foot speed to contain guards on the perimeter. He doesn't try to do too much. Instead, he plays his role to perfection, setting up second chance opportunities, boxing out hard, and communicating on switches. The Dubs have been looking for someone who can be both an athletic finisher and an intelligent defensive anchor off the pine, and Trayce is starting to check both boxes. His poise gives the coaching staff confidence to experiment with him in key stretches against first-unit lineups, something that could pay dividends by mid-season. And ultimately, these preseason comebacks, even if technically meaningless in the standings, represent something far deeper for the Golden State Warriors in 2025-26. They're not just scrimmages, believe it or not. They're reminders of what made this franchise special in the first place. The ball is zipping again. The defensive effort is contagious, and the mix of youth and veteran leadership is finally starting to mesh. Stephen Curry setting the tone with his energy and trust in his teammates has been the undercurrent of this turnaround. Instead of feeling like a one-man show, the Warriors are beginning to resemble that selfless, balanced squad from the dynasty years, everyone knowing their role, everyone playing with joy. These comebacks show that when the Warriors play their brand of basketball, fast, unselfish, and relentless, they can still overwhelm teams regardless of who's on the court. And that's what makes this preseason so valuable. It's not about the Dubs. It's about rediscovering the DNA that made them champions.